not enough powder and everything gets creasy, too much powder and I look like the Crypt Keeper. Hi everyone, how are you? Welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I am very shiny, and that is because I wanted to do a Boxycharm and Ipsy try-on with all of the products that we received. I have almost a full face, not quite, so whatever I don't have that is new technically, I'll just do off camera so I don't waste your time too much. But we do have a lot of goodies to play with. I'm going to have to make some decisions because I got several eyeshadow palettes, I got a couple of different blushes, etc. I think I only have one highlighter, but we're going to have fun today, and maybe you're going to get your stuff and hang out and do your makeup with me. It doesn't look like I got any kind of a primer this month, so before I do that, I do want to try the Tula Glow and Get It Cooling Brightening Eye Balm. Very, very pretty packaging. This is so very similar to several others that are out there on the market. I like this one the best as far as this thing because that is super convenient. It does feel very cooling when you put it on the eye. It glides very nicely over the skin. I don't think these are magical by any means, but they certainly feel good if you keep them in the refrigerator. They do have a tendency to get a little bit stiffer, but the cooling is even more exaggerated when you do that. One of the things that we did get in one of our boxes is the Huda Beauty The Basic B Sponge. I'm very particular about my sponges. There's certain things I like and certain things I don't. This grew exponentially. I would definitely say this is nice because it does have the flat edge, which I also do like. I also got, why do I always say we? Maybe it's because I just think like we're just a family and I include you in everything. 2 sets of brushes here, so I'm probably going to do one side of my face with the sponge and the other with the brush. So this Battington set, I got a contour brush and a fluffy bunny cottontail powder brush. And in this $1 Billion Brushes set, I have washed these all, by the way. Remember saying that this was the contour brush that I didn't think was going to work very well as a contour brush, and another powder brush. I do actually have a new foundation brush, which I am anxious to try, even though it wasn't part of this haul from Boxycharm and Ipsy. I do want to try it, so I'll be right back. Oh, it's Sugarfoot. I actually realized that we did, because I have so much stuff over here, we did get a little baby of the First Aid Beauty Matte Primer. I'm going to use that a little bit just in certain areas and see how that affects it, just to give it a shot. It smells really, really yummy. I don't know, there's something that I enjoy about the sensorial smells when I'm doing my makeup. It's pleasant to me. Now again, that did not feel overly drying on my skin whatsoever, even though it says that it is mattifying. So we shall see. The foundation I'm using today, I have so many that I just wanted to pull out one. This is what I grabbed. It's the Wander Beauty Nude Illusion Foundation. I am in the color shade medium. This is a very, very liquidy foundation. I do like it, but my issue is that with the doe foot applicator, the application process is not conducive to working really well. But the color is really good. Let's see if I can not mess this up. I'm going to do this side with the sponge. Oh, right off the bat, the texture of this Huda Beauty sponge is beautiful. It has just the right amount of bounce and softness, but not so much that it just takes the makeup off. That is a lovely foundation, and it went on beautifully. I like this. I think it's going to become one of my favorites, way above the Beauty Blender, although it is almost as much as the Beauty Blender. Alright, now let's try this interesting brush. The brush that I got was the It Cosmetics Heavenly Skin Hugging Foundation Brush. It was originally $45. I found it in TJ Maxx, which you haven't seen that video yet, you will soon, for $5 on clearance. The reviews that I read were terrible, them saying exactly what I thought, that it is way too flimsy to be a foundation brush. But I'm going to try it, and then I'm going to add my review to that. Okay, well, I can tell you it's extremely, extremely soft. But I think the whole concept of this with the contour of the brush here is that it would like hug your cheekbones and be sculpting when you are putting on your foundation. It's not as bad as I think the reviews made it seem. I am personally used to a very firm foundation brush. But I can say that it did not streak whatsoever, which I do usually have a problem with other foundation brushes. So that is something. This actually shears out the foundation more so than the Beauty Blender side. I think it actually gives a beautiful finish. It's going to give you a different finish if you used a more firm foundation brush, but it left no streaks, which is definitely a miracle. Okay, that is not a bad start. I don't have any new concealers to use. Well, I do, but that's for a different video. So let me just do my concealer really quickly, and I will be right back. Okay, dokies. So I did my concealer really quickly, but I used my kind of two favorite combinations, the Too Faced conceal and contour and highlight kind of thingy, and then the L'Oreal Infallible Full Wear, which is really, really a good, not inexpensive, because you know, drugstore these days, but it's still a really good concealer. I got the Kat Von D Lock-It powder. I have used this before. It's not a new product to me, and I don't mind opening it because I have several. I just dump these into a larger empty container. Getting your brush in here is an absurdity. Okay, so I have this little fluffy bunny tail thing that after I set my under eyes, I'm going to like kind of dust away the powder, you know, like a professional guru. Yeah, no. So how about I use this $1 Billion Brows Fluffer brush on this side and the Fluffy Bunny Tail Battington on the other. It's a very, very soft, soft brush. I think it's time for me to get rid of one of my favorite powder brushes because the bristles are getting scratchy. I mean, I've had it for a couple of years and it was not expensive. It's a Real Techniques. But you know when you're just like stuck on something, but then when you use something like this that's so freaking soft, you realize that it's time to let something go. Applied it beautifully. Now let's use this one. I really enjoy the two shapes. I enjoy the fluffy roundness of this. I even like them even bigger sometimes, but I also enjoy the precision of the pointed powder brushes to get a little bit more precise. So let's see how this bunny tail works. So you can see how it fits so nicely around my nose. Makeup is so freaking personal. When somebody says, oh, I hate this about something, that may be something's favorite thing about something else. The only thing I like to do is explain my experience with it and how I feel, but I never judge anyone's opinion if it works for them because, hello, we are all different. Love this brush too. Very nice, soft, flexible, but not overly so. Brush, kind of like it. Not enough powder and everything gets creasy. Too much powder and I look like the Crypt Keeper. I would say one thing, I would definitely not have paid $80 for these brushes. I like them, I personally don't think that they would be an $80 brush. Nor do I agree with the price of the brushes of these either. So there's that. As far as the face products, I have the Shaina B Miami. This one is the blush and highlighter palette, which I'm very excited to use. I also have my Cocoa Contour palette because I had already had it, and that one's going to either go in a giveaway or on my Poshmark. Such a very pretty palette. Now, I always thought that this was just a blush, but certain people are telling me that this is actually part of the contour shade. I don't know. I never used it that way because it's peachy, but I guess it could be. I'm going to try this one first on this side. I'm going to use the middle shade here, which is medium contour. Oh, this is another super, super soft brush. This is a very nice contour shade for me because it has a little bit of that gray undertone, but not enough to make me look like somebody from The Walking Dead. Let's try the $1 Billion Brows brushes. Their supposed contour brush. I'm going to dip into the same shade. This is nice, I think, for maybe all over bronzer, not for a contour. See, it's too wide, so you can't get that chiseled effect with it. Now I have these 3 eye brushes that I got in the $1 Billion Brow Kit. This one feels like got a little stiffy plastic or something in there, which is weird. I received the Tarteist Pro. It is Tarteist, by the way, because when I first got something from them, I was like, how do you pronounce it? So I reached out to Tarte, and I said, how do you pronounce it? And they said, Tarteist, like artist. And I was like, okay, thank you. It has that matte black and the shiny gold back. Such a pretty color story, which I know is difficult to see because of the shininess of it, but it has all of these gorgeous warm and some cool tone matte colors, and then all of these shimmers. You have the option, you can go in rows and create a look, or you can basically do whatever you want, and I like that option. I'm using this yellow shade here, which is called Classic. I was mentioning how I tend to neglect my Tarte palettes. And I really do like my Tarte palettes. Okay, this is looking just a little bit patchy. Let me just try buffing it out a little bit. Okay, that sheared it out some. Let me switch brushes and see if that makes a difference. Tried and true Morphe M330. Yeah, so this brush offered just a little bit more control and I think less patchiness. So let me just fix this one. That color again is called Fierce. This is a very soft brush, nice for underneath the eyes. I hate when I get one of those scratchy brushes. No filter, right there. Okay, can I bring up something please without getting stones thrown at me in the comments? I don't get political on my channel because there's a place for that, and then there's a place to have fun and play with makeup. Not that I'm ignoring issues that are going on in the world, but again, there's a place for it and a time for it. But I just have to say, if I get called a sheep one more time, how did mask wearing become left or right? How did it become politicized? Now I welcome your opinions. I'm going to take my, I think this is this is a Farrah brush, and now I'm going to go into the deepest shade, Vamp, and do my outer corner. Okay, I'm going to take this Vintage up here, and I'm going to go on my brow bone to just try to diffuse the color a little bit. The Glam shimmer shade that they have here, which is in the row, and I'm just going to put that on my lid with this $1 Billion Brows flat brush, and wow, this is a very nice brush because it is flexible enough yet it still picks up the product. Let me just take this with my finger, which is so soft. Okay, it was a little bit powdery, so it kind of dropped off a little when I put it on. It's simple, it's pretty, it's not over the top blingy, but I like it. I do want to go back and just deepen that up again in the corner a little bit, since that color kind of went over it and diffused it. This is the Araceli, but it's a brown liner. I'm going to try it anyway just because. Now because it's brown, you really can't see it. One thing I will tell you is the point is super fine and it goes on smoothly and beautifully, and it's perfect. I mean, if you have non-hooded younger eyes more than I, this will give you a beautiful wing. Absolutely. So I am maybe going to buy myself one of the black ones because so far I think I like it. Let me try the Shana B Blushes. We have 2 colors here that I'm very interested in. One is called Rosa and one is called Cal. They feel very nice. One is a pinkier. Very pretty. I just tapped into the Cal, which is the more neutral of the 2. Okay, so I actually went and finished up my eyes. I put on a little bit of black eyeliner. I put a purple in my waterline and a black on my upper waterline like I usually do. It's a neutral palette, but it's really, really pretty. I'm happy with how things came out. Now, what I want to do is I have two different highlighter brushes. I kind of want to try on both highlighters. So the one that is drawing me in is, of course, this one called Sugar Bomb, because it's that goldy highlight and I kind of like it. I am using the Complex Culture brush that we got in Ipsy. I wouldn't call it glittery, I would call it glimmery. So I want to try the Flesh highlighter. This is in Jump, using my Jeffree Star. Interestingly enough, they're quite similar. This one to me, I think, is more subtle. It kind of melts into the skin more than this one. This one is called Guava Glow. And that's kind of like a peachy, even more subtle. That's really, really pretty. Now, we got these Bodyography lip pencils with the useless caps. So far, everyone that I have seen open these has had the same problem, that the caps absolutely do not stay on. And I think for $18 a piece, which is what I believe these are, that is an absurdity. I don't think that is acceptable in the least. I have drugstore pencils that I've paid $4 for or $3 for that the caps stay on. To me, that's a no-brainer. Are Rosewood and Pouty. I'm thinking I'm going to use the Pouty. These went on a little bit dry on my hand, but actually they go on quite nicely on the lips. The other thing I got was a lipstick from Real Harf, but this is the color, and I chose that lip liner because I think this will go well with it. This goes on extremely creamily on my hand. The color is perfect together. That's a very, very pretty color. It goes on beautifully. Now let me get into what I think about the products overall. I'm very happy to have it. They're cooling. They feel wonderful. Lovely. The brushes are not as bad as I thought. As you can see, you saw how they performed. The unevenness of the bristles, although to me it degrades their price point that they say it is, I think they performed wonderfully. This one I'm just not so sure about. I know it can be used for something. You just have to experiment with it and play with it. This was a lovely powder brush. I love it. These were great little face eye brushes. These are not, imagine using these on your face. This I just have to wash again and see if I can get that little piece of plastic out of there. I don't know what happened, but it worked well. This was a great bunny tail powder brush. Glad I didn't pay the price that they say it is. And this, I will have to try this for foundation, but it worked beautifully as a contour brush. I am loving this sponge, which makes me sad, but it is less than the Beauty Blender though. I'm so glad that we got it in a box, but it is a really, really nice sponge. I like it. The pencils, you already know my opinion about them. I will see how they last or whatever, but they went on very nicely. This is very nice. I like it. I can see myself using it because it's a really pretty color. You knew I already loved the Lock-It powder. I have tons of these little guys. I told you I just keep bigger containers and I dump all the little babies into a big one. Granted, I forget what it is once it's in there, but you know. I'm happy with the Tarteist Pro palette thus far. I can't wait to try some of the other shimmers and experiment with them. I think it went on well. It's not the easiest to blend, but I'm not unhappy with it. You know, sometimes I just compare things to other things. For the fact that I got it for, oh what, just $6 or something like that because we got on the box is amazing. Cannot wait to do other looks with it. This is going to be just a very nice blush palette. I do want to see, though, how long it lasts. You know, on the first impression, it's really great, but you got to give it time to see if it faded at the end of the day, and that could be important, as well as the highlighter. This Flesh, again, I will let you know later on after I play with it some more. It's going to be on my face all day because it's not too late right now. And that is it for my opinion. Now you know that I would love your opinion because that is what I live for. That is why I started my channel, so that we could have wonderful conversations about makeup, because that is what we all love. Well, I hope we do anyway. I love you guys tremendously. If you wouldn't mind giving this video a thumbs up or a thumbs down, that would be greatly appreciated. And if you're new, I would love for you to become part of this amazing YouTube family that we have here. Most importantly, my friends, please be safe, please be well out there. And of course, whatever part of the world you're in and around, I hope you're having an amazing day and amazing week coming up. And I will see you really soon in my next video. Much love, everybody. Bye.